little chickens! And welcome to the first episode of Big Sister series, name TBD. I don't know if I love Big Sister series. It's kind of basic, but I can't think of anything else right now, okay? This is the kind of content that I dream about making that's so fun to me. I don't get to do it on TikTok. On my YouTube right now, I've been doing the same kind of stuff as on my TikTok, which is like fashion and beauty and try-on hauls and vlogs and stuff. But like, you can't do something like this on TikTok. So I'm so excited to do this. I wanted it to feel like a slumber party with your big sister. So I have all my little stuffed animals around me. I would normally film in my bed, but I can't tonight. So we're couch sitting. My apologies for the loud air conditioner, but it's quite hot in here. First and foremost, we got our snack of the week. My snack for the week is sponsored by Trader Joe's. I have these truffle cheese doodles, cheese crunchies I think they call them. They're so good. I love anything truffle. I know it's a little bit of a polarizing taste for some people, but I love truffle. And then secondly, we have these s'mores clusters. They're as good as they sound. Baby, yeah. I also want to do like a fun drink of the week. Like I was thinking of doing like fun like non-alcoholic cocktails, but I forgot that I wanted to do that and I don't have any sort of ingredients to do that. So we just have water in my Awala water bottle, which I am positively obsessed with. Go and get yourself in some cozy PJs, grab your stuffed animals, grab a blankie, grab a delicious snack, and let's down and chit chat. So my idea for these videos is that we're gonna do a segment called Ask Mare Bear, kind of like a Dear Abby-esque type thing where people can ask me anonymous questions that you would like ask a big sister or someone that you like trust isn't gonna make fun of you or is gonna give you good advice. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna move on to a weekly roundup, things that like happen throughout the week, like pop culture happenings or, you know, internet drama, or, like just funny things that I like want to talk about. And then we'll end with anything just like miscellaneous, like a book that I read and I'm like, oh my god, I have to tell you about it. Something noteworthy that I want to share. I didn't get a lot of responses because I've never done this before and people don't know what it is really, like they don't know what to expect. So I'm hoping in coming episodes we'll have a little bit more people feeling comfortable asking these anonymous questions. But let's like just dive into it. So we have Dear Mare Bear, how do I flirt with women as a woman? I just came out as pan and am dating women for the first time and I'm so lost. Oh, my sweet summer child. Listen to me right here, right now. It's not as hard as you think it is. I think it's scary when you first start doing it just because like you're not used to it, especially if you just came out, you know, you don't have a lot of experience of flirting with women, but it's so easy to flirt with women because we do it all the time with each other, no matter what our sexualities are. I've had some straight women be more forward with me than any queer woman I've ever met. Honestly, what I do is that I just like go in steps. If I'm talking to a woman that I'm like, ooh, is she? I start off with the usual compliments you would give any woman of just like, you're so beautiful, oh my god, like, oh, your hair, like, oh my god, you smell so good, whatever. And then like, as time goes on, as you're talking to her, like ramp up the compliments in a more like, I don't want to say sexual way because that sounds like predatory, but you know what I mean, like make the compliments a little less like generic that you would say to anyone and a little bit more flirty. And then for me, what always works is body language, which I heard they took that line out of Poor Unfortunate Souls in the new Little Mermaid movie and I'm devastated. A lot of times you can tell where a situation is going by how someone reacts to your body language. So for example, when I went on my first date with my last ex-girlfriend, we went out and I thought we were going out more as friends that were like commiserating over a mutual friend of mine, ex-girlfriend of hers, that like scorned us both. So I thought we were just kind of like going and like doing like talk therapy with each other and just catching up. But then as the night went on, I was like, oh, is she into this? So like I would do like what I would do, flirt with anyone, a man, a woman, whoever, like doing the whole like, oh my god, like, do you know what I mean? And like grabbing their hand or like, or their arm, or like touching their thigh briefly, seeing how they react to like flirty touches, and just get like maybe a little bit closer. Or like another litmus test for man, woman, whoever is like doing the like kind of sexy eyes. So like if I'm talking to you and I'm like, yeah, yeah, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, and you just keep looking down at their lips and back of their eyes, and you're doing like the like, you know, playful eyes like that. That can kind of get them on the same page that like you're like feeling like twirly. Do you know what I mean? Another foolproof way, just ask. Just say like, are you, you know, I don't mean to be forward, but like, are you into women? And then if they're like, oh my God, yeah, then you can be like, great, I think you're beautiful. Like I want to get to know you more. Or if they say no, then you say, okay, great, and you move on. Women love directness. Question number 2. How do you prepare for the days when you aren't feeling yourself? Fantastic question. For me, my mantra is always fake it till you make it. When people ask me like how I gained my confidence, how I dress the way I do, they're like, how did you get to this place? And I'm like, I just faked it till I maked it. I told myself that I was confident. I told myself that I was beautiful, that I was sexy, that, you know, wearing a crop top wasn't scary. And eventually I just believed it. So it's the same thing like when I wake up and I'm like, I am so depressed. I am so anxious. I don't feel like doing anything today. I don't want to get out of bed, but I have to. Whatever. A lot of times I'll just take whatever spoons I have and I will put it towards my appearance. And I know that sounds shallow, but that could mean whatever it is, what it means to different people. For me, that's like doing a full face, a fun hairstyle, a really cute outfit, and my favorite perfume smell. Because for me, when I look cute, I feel cute. A lot of times I will also, and this is probably just because I'm like an annoying theater kid, and a dramatic ass Capricorn, I'll like romanticize my life by like pretending that there's like cameras watching me as if I'm like acting for a camera and there's a director that's like, okay, now like you're gonna go wash your face and really luxuriate in how you're washing your face. And I'll literally be looking in the mirror like like I'm literally acting. And sometimes, most of the time, that will kind of snap me out of it and put me in a decent headspace to be like, to like go about my day. Next one. Dear Mare Bear, hooking up with a girl. I'm nervy. What if I'm bad at it? Tips? I love all of these queer woman questions. I feel like it's not enough for me to feel like your cool older sister. Now I'm your cool older like queer sister that you confide in, that you like kissed a girl. I love it. I'm gonna go off the idea that you've hooked up with people before and you're just scared that it's like a woman this time. Your instinct kicks in. You're still kissing a mouth. Whether you're kissing a man's mouth or a woman's mouth, you're doing the same thing. Start there. What was so interesting about the first time that I hooked up with a woman was that I thought the same thing, that I was like, well, what if I don't know what I'm doing? But in retrospect, it's like, but I'm a woman. I know what I'm doing like when I pleasure myself. It's the same as hooking up with a man, only most of the time better. Because you're being intimate with another woman who understands gentleness and nuance, and like I felt the most safe I ever felt hooking up with women than with men. The only tip that I could give is to let your intuition guide you. Not to get too TMI, but I remember when I was like hooking up with a woman the first time, how do I put this delicately? When we moved on from just hand stuff, we were moving on to more intimate situations. I feel like that's a final threshold of hooking up with a woman, if you catch my drift. My partner was like, you don't have to, like, we can take this as slow as you want, like, I understand this can be scary, blah, blah, blah. Leading up to it, I had been so nervous and thinking about putting it off, and then when push came to shove, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go for it. And my intuition led me. That would be my advice. Let your intuition guide you. Dear Mare Bear, when everything around you feels shaky and scary, but you have to keep moving forward, what do you do? Now, as someone with an anxiety disorder, I relate to this like more than you know. And lately, this whole year, to be so real with you, has been really shaky and scary. It's been kind of like one throat punch after the next. Not to get too woo-woo about things, like I don't know if you're watching this and you haven't seen a lot of my content, you might not know, like I am a witch. I'm very spiritual in that sense. I do a lot of spiritual things to kind of ground me. You'd be so surprised what mindfulness can do for you. For me, mindfulness is journaling, and specifically journaling when things feel shaky and scary. I journal about things that I'm thankful for and like good things that are happening in my life, no matter how small. It could literally be like, I was really craving cereal this morning and I had cereal and it felt good. Like literally the smallest things. And then what I'll do is then when I go throughout my day, I'll keep it like on my notes app, and when good things happen to me, again, no matter how small, I'll write them down. I caught the subway just as it was about to leave and I would have been late if I didn't. And then at the end of the day, I go back and I read all the good things that happened to me and I feel a little bit more at peace, that things aren't so shaky and scary. I know it can sound a little like ugh, rolls eyes emoji. Practicing mindfulness will help you alleviate some of that stress of like, oh God, everything's going wrong. Dear Mare Bear, I've never really been in a real relationship and I want to get into the dating pool, but I've also never done anything and might not be ready to, but I'm in college now and starting to become an adult. Is it too late to start naive and cute relationships that might not progress into sex anytime soon? This is a great question because I feel like a lot of young women mostly have this like notion that either once you get into college or once you're like 18 and up or even 20 and up, that like relationships have to be serious and they have to be adult and they have to progress really quickly when you're in college. Because I know I felt that way when I went to college. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to have sex and like drink and do drugs, but like it doesn't have to be like that. You can still start like a wholesome and cute relationship and not progress into sex until you're ready. I lost my virginity, which is, you know, let's not get started on the topic of virginity, but I was fully intimate with someone for the first time when I want to say 21, with a woman. And then I only was intimate with a man when I was 25, 26. There's no time limit. You just have to have boundaries. If someone tries to pressure you and you're not ready, just say like, oh, I really like you, but I'm not ready to take that step yet. It's totally fine. It's absolutely fine. Dear Mare Bear, my mother is Jekyll and Hyde kind of person. She is both a lovely mom and a mental abuser. A few years ago, I couldn't love her anymore. Now my mental health has been better, so I talked to her about one of my childhood problems and she apologized. Is it okay to have hope and already feel love coming back? That's heavy. We're getting heavy. We're getting into it, guys. I want to say that is absolutely okay to feel hope coming back, because at the end of the day, we all just want to feel loved by our moms, and our moms are not perfect human beings. They are flawed human beings like anyone else. It doesn't excuse, you know, mental abuse, of course, but you have to create your own boundaries with your mom, and in the same way that you would create boundaries with a friend or a partner. I would just say, you know, keep an eye on it. Like, if you want to have a relationship with your mom and she genuinely apologized for something that you brought up, that you said, you know, like, this bothered me, this hurt me, then it's absolutely okay to feel hope coming back. But I would say for sure, just like, you know, just keep on your guard, especially if it's been a long time of her, you know, mentally abusing you. Set new boundaries the more your relationship progresses, just so that you don't get hurt. Dear Mare Bear, how do you know when to break up with your friends? A friend breakup is one of the worst breakups you will ever have in your life. So it's really hard to break up with your friends because you don't want to lose them. Similar to what I was saying in the last question, with friends that are hurting you, that are making you feel bad, talk to them, set boundaries. If they can't adhere to those boundaries, then I would say it's time to cut it off. Because that's really any relationship, friend, partner, family, whoever. If you tell someone, hey, when you do XYZ, it hurts me, so please don't do that, and they say, okay, and then keep doing it, they don't respect you. So then you cut them off. Dear Mare Bear, how do you develop your fashion/wardrobe? I want to wear prettier things, but I don't know where to start. My advice to this always is, if you don't have an inherent sense of fashion, because this was always a hard question for me to answer at first, because I've always had an inherent sense of fashion. I just never felt like I was able to wear the things I wanted to wear, because, you know, when back in the day, clothing in bigger sizes wasn't available or wasn't cute. So I always had a sense of fashion inside me. I just wasn't able to translate it to myself. But if you don't have an inherent sense of your own fashion sense or a fashion sense, my advice is always to go on Pinterest. Pinterest is a fantastic tool when it comes to fashion. And just search like women's fashion summer 2023 and look at all the trending pieces and outfits and looks and start a board of like fashion inspo and start to pin all the things that make you go, ooh, I would want to wear that. Oh, that's cute. Oh, she looks great. And just pin a shit ton. And then once you have like a bunch, look through it. And usually you'll be able to visualize what your fashion sense is. And when you go shopping, whether it's in person or online, you'll go looking for those pieces. Or even like if you're like, I really love crocheted vests, just Google cute crocheted vests and you're gonna come up with a bunch of things and you go from there. Dear Mare Bear, I need advice for my first time. Tips, things you wish you knew before. Anything helps, thank you. Advice for your first time. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. And I don't know who your first time will be with, whether it's of the same sex or not, but especially if it's with a man, if it's straight cisgendered sex, don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. Women are kind of conditioned to just lie down and take it. We are all conditioned to think like, well, it's more so for him, not for me. Like I have to perform to make it enjoyable for him. But that doesn't help anything. If you perform and exaggerate things, that's not going to make things good for you. So you need to speak up and tell your partner what you want. It's been years now that I've been intimate with men that I've learned to speak up for myself and to say when I'm uncomfortable, what to say when I don't like something, to say stop, whatever. But it takes some conditioning first. So if you go into it willing to speak your mind, you're already way ahead of the game. Dear Mare Bear, like, how do you navigate dating apps as a plus size girly? Like, I'm terrified to even put pictures up because I don't want to be judged instantly for that. Fantastic question. One of the biggest fears that a plus size woman has when going on a dating app is worrying that they're going to catfish or be accused of catfishing someone. And they'll be like, did I add enough pictures that show just how my body looks so that they're not surprised? And to that I always say, unless you're only showing pictures of your face from up here and like at perfect angles, they're gonna know what they're getting into. They're gonna know that they're talking to and going out with a big bitch, okay? There are plenty of people on dating apps that don't have a strict preference of body type. My boyfriend is a tall, in-shape man. He's dated a whole spectrum of people. He's dated non-binary people. He's dated, you know, women with really short hair, women that are more femme, big women, small, really thin women, short, tall. Like he's dated them all because he doesn't really have a preference. So they are out there. You just have to put forth your most authentic self. But when it comes to being a plus size girly on a dating app, they know what they're dealing with. You are very rarely gonna have someone who's mean and fat phobic swipe on you just to talk to you. Like every so often you might, once in a blue moon, come across a man that swipes on you just to bully you. Again, for the most part, they're gonna be swiping on you because they're interested. Oh my gosh, okay, and that comes to the end of our Dear Mare Bear sequence. I loved that. That was so much fun. I hope to get more intricate questions, more personal questions, maybe even just like more fun, silly questions. As for like weekly catch up, like internet drama, like, or pop culture, like internet drama, this was kind of like a dry week. Like there was not like a lot going on. Like I was scouring Twitter, TikTok, like I really wasn't seeing any sort of like juicy stuff to talk about. I did write down in my notes to like remember to talk about the like Taylor Swift drama that's happening with Maddie Healy, but I know that I'm in the minority of not being a Taylor Swift fan. I don't want to alienate myself. I don't want to receive any ire from any Swifties. So I'm not gonna talk about it unless y'all say in the comments like next week, like let's talk about it. I don't have a dog in this race because like I don't hate her, but I'm not a fan of hers. So I'm just looking at it objectively, and objectively she's dating or rumored to be dating an absolute piece of shit. And like where it came to a head, look at me talking about it, where it came to a head for me was how she's doing that collab with Ice Spice, and literally there was, when did that happen? I don't know exactly when it happened, but like Maddie Healy was on that podcast and was apparently saying like really disgusting, misogynistic, awful things about Ice Spice. And I'm like, this seems a little calculated. I'm not saying it was calculated by her. It could be her PR team, it could be her management. I don't know. That just came to a head for me. I'm gonna lean back a little bit because my back hurts. And these are just like some funny images, memes, or whatever that I found throughout the week that made me smile. Something about me is that my tummy always hurts a little, and I'm cold and sick, and I had a bad dream last night. And I felt really seen by this because my tummy always hurts. I felt like I related to this meme because once I start complaining, like it's game over. Like if my boyfriend lets me complain about one thing, forget it. I'm going on for 20 minutes. How it feels to ask someone if they watched the show you recommended. I've seen this picture with a bunch of different things like how it feels to blah blah blah. But yeah, this one, have you ever recommended a show that you really love to someone and you're like, wow, I can't wait to discuss it with this person that I love, this show that I love, and then you're like, did you watch whatever? And they're like, oh, no, I didn't get around to it. And you're like, oh, so you fucking hate me. You hate me and you don't care about our relationship at all. This relates to all the queer questions that I was getting today. When I'm having the most casual conversation with my homegirls, but I start to notice the light in their eyes sparkle with intrigue, skin with beautiful undertones, their different hair colors glistening in the sun with the most perfect makeup to match their personality, to match their personality, and a mind and heart as pure as the moonlight with an outlook on life that inspires me. What did I say? What did I say? Women love nothing more than to just wax poetic about how much they love other women. Like, any woman that's like, no, I'm straight. I'm like, but like, how straight? This is the last one. I like to buy a tasty little snack to distract me from the scary state of the world for just a few minutes. If there's one thing I look forward to every single day in this capitalist hellscape, is spending money on buying a little treat. A person that was like, how do you go about your day when you aren't feeling yourself or something like that? I'll tell you how. With the promise of a little treat. I'm gonna go to Starbucks and I'm gonna get a delicious drink. I'm gonna go get boba. That's how I make it through every day. And that is it for our first Big Sister series episode. I can't wait to see how these episodes develop. I'm just kind of like going off of like vibes and an idea with this. My like dream would be to like, I don't know, turn it into a podcast or something. Like a whole production with like state-of-the-art microphones and like a set and stuff like that. Would, oh my god, like imagine like a set of like your dream like childhood bedroom, and that's where my podcast takes place, my Big Sister podcast. That's the dream. That's what I hope this turns into. If you have any suggestions of like what else we could like do, what else we could talk about with our little slumber parties, please let me know in the comments. I'm here to workshop this idea with you. Thanks for hanging out with me and my gang. We're so happy to have you here. I'll see you next week. Get some good sleep. I love you so much.